everybody, welcome back to another exciting horror pack unboxing, where today we are here for the April 2023 unboxing of Horror Pack, and I will be watching these movies and reviewing them. So if you're more interested in movie reviews than the unboxing or whatever, they put time codes down there. It doesn't spoil what the movies are, so maybe you just enjoy experiencing the surprise that way and skipping the unboxing part. That's up to you. But the fine folks at Horror Pack do a great service. For about $25 a month, you can choose DVD or Blu Ray, and they will send you at least 4 horror films that are usually pretty awesome, and sometimes some things you've never heard of or seen. And at least one of those will always be an absolute exclusive Blu Ray release, or DVD, I suppose, at least at the time of that unboxing. So sometimes somebody else picks it up after and things like that. But if you're a physical collector, you're gonna get exclusive art and such like that. So you'll at least have that, and I'm very excited about it. Also, I want to let you know that, of course, the fine folks at Horror Pack, they do not pay me, they do not sponsor, but they do send me this box for free. Apparently they enjoy my reviews, and I enjoy them and their service, and I appreciate it. And even though I have about 8,000 physical title movies, when I get duplicates, I like to give them to my mutant fam at the Mutant Meetup, so they do find a lovely home. It's better than the 50 cents I'll get at half-price books. Let's do a thumbnail, and let's pop this bad boy open, and let's start seeing what other movies Eric gets to watch, because I'm filming this, and it is late April. April's about over. I think it's like 26th today. Yeah, today's 26th, and I've been roaring through because I got so far behind on these boxes. So I've made it my goal over this week to really catch up on these. So hopefully we're back into caught up territory, and I'll get these out once a month. Nobody was pressuring me, which I really appreciate, but I like doing it, and I feel if I wait too long, they might not want to send them to me anymore. All right, so box out of the way. Please tell me, I totally just flashed my address, but hopefully it's blurry. Comes like this. Of course, it's not my address, it's where I have stuff sent. So it's not gonna do you any good if you have it. I just still like to be secretive. All right, so as usual, I do like to peek in on the side just to see where the number is, on the spine number, so I make sure I pull out that exclusive last. That's what I thought. All right. And here we go. Let's see what the first movie is. First up, we get, ooh. I don't know anything about this one, but it seems familiar. I think I'm gonna like it, but we have Proxy. It's an IFC Midnight. At least I got something cool I do not have and I have not seen, so I'm excited about that. Let's see what we get. In the last month of her pregnancy, Esther Woodhouse is savagely beaten in an alleyway by an unknown assailant and loses her baby. To aid in her recovery, she attends a support group for grieving parents where she meets Melanie, who claims her son and husband were killed by a drunk driver. Esther and Melanie develop a friendship, but soon it becomes clear that both are harboring much darker secrets than they initially let on. And when both their lives are transformed by another shocking act of violence, they find that recovery may be impossible. With wildly unpredictable twists and turns, Proxy is a fantastic, unnerving, and endlessly unpredictable, says Inku Kang from the LA Times, psychological thriller. We also have a couple other quotes here. Will undoubtedly represent 2 of the most unforgettable hours you spend in the cinema this year, says Clark Collins of Entertainment Weekly. A breath of fresh air, it's a film that features throwbacks to Stanley Kubrick, Brian De Palma, and Lars Van Trier, says Max O'Connell of IndieWire. Cool, lots of special features, 45 minutes of additional Blu-ray exclusive bonus features, including behind-the-scenes featurette, extended interviews, and trailers. It is not rated. It is IFC Midnight, and it is in 122 minutes. I'm looking forward to that. I got a really good feeling about it. Not a big Rosemary's Baby fan or a fan of those types of movies, but I got a good feeling about this one. Sometimes they're great. All right, next movie up, we get... Ooh. Oh, I like this cast. I feel like I've seen this art, but... Oh, this is an animated... Ooh, animated horror. Hells yeah. All right, I'm excited for that. This is my birthday month box, too, so they're killing it. To Your Last Death. Almost looks like Julie Strain up there. It's not, though. But I mean, we got Bill Moseley in here. We got William frickin' Shatner. The Shat. We got the Shat in here. Hell yeah. All right, and we get nice slip covers. The slipcase, different art. No, the art's the same. Back art's the same. That's always a little disappointing. That's not Horror Pack's problem. It's just, if you're gonna put a slip cover, do something different on it. Anyways, let's read this. After emerging as the sole survivor in a deadly revenge game set up by her father to punish his children, Miriam receives an offer from a supernatural entity to go back in time and try again. Now Miriam must survive both her father's bloodlust and the game master's ever-changing rules to save her siblings as she relives the worst night of her life. And also I should mention we have Ray Weiss in here, so that's always a plus too. Let's see, To Your Last Death. Any names? Oh, obviously I recognize some of these actor names, but anybody else? Nope, can't say that I do. It is 92 minutes and it is unrated, so tight, right, and animated. I love it. 2 animated horror flicks in 2 months. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see what the penultimate movie is in the horror pack this month. We get Trapped. Oh, this is like really young people. Charlize Theron, Courtney Love, Stuart Townsend, and Kevin Bacon. Okay, I'm in. Those are good people to watch. If the movie's crap, at least they'll be fun. So, wow, that is, again, y'all have given me 3 movies. 3 movies I have never heard of and do not own. You did that back in January. That is impressive. That is very impressive. Most impressive. All right, it was the perfect plan until she refused to be the perfect victim. From the producer of Thelma and Louise comes a white-knuckle, edge-of-your-seat thriller starring Academy Award winner Charlize Theron, 2004 Best Actress Monster, Courtney Love, The People vs. Larry Flint, Stuart Townsend, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and Kevin Bacon. Every single movie ever. When their daughter is taken for ransom by a gang of serial kidnappers, a young doctor and his wife find themselves held hostage while a 24-hour plan to extort their money is set into motion. With time running out and the health of their asthmatic daughter at serious risk, they find themselves in a race against the clock as the perfect crime begins spiraling towards an unthinkable, terrifying, and deadly conclusion. A tightly drawn thriller, says Megan Turner of the New York Post. Interesting, it's a thriller, so this is like... I'm thinking Mary could be down for either of these. Maybe she'll be in both. We'll see how it goes. She's feeling a little under the weather right now, but we got plenty of time to get this box out. This is rated R. It is... How long? Give me a runtime. Where is that runtime? 1 hour and 46 minutes, and it looks like it comes from 2002. Hence, very babyface babies. Well, I'm excited for all of those. Those all actually sound quite delightful. Nothing in there, I mean, at worst it'll be mildly slow. So, cool. All right, now let's see what the big ol' exclusive be, shall we? And is the art gonna be good? Horror Pack, oh, it's a signed exclusive. Horror Pack Originals. So they're doing original movies now, apparently. Or at least distributing originals. So clearly the only way to get this is in Horror Pack. It's something called 73 Minutes. It is definitely signed by the director, Lou Simon. It's 82 minutes long, ironically. It actually looks pretty good. The art and everything, I mean, the back of the box, pretty well laid out. We've got the nice little artist signature there. Get the nice pack in with the signature there. So yeah, this is another box of 4 movies I don't own and have never heard of. That is impressive. You've done that at least twice this year already. Y'all are impressing the hell out of me. All right, let's get to it, shall we? You're telling me I have 73 minutes to get there? This is very small print though, so bear with me. Okay. Monica's driving home after an intimate encounter when she gets a call from a private number. The anonymous caller threatens her daughter's life and she doesn't deliver a client file to him, if she doesn't. He sends her coordinates to a location 73 minutes away and warns her not to deviate from the GPS instructions or call the police. Now she has 73 minutes to figure out what the caller wants with the file. She enlists the help of her lover to solve the mystery in order to save her daughter. But as they get closer to figuring out the identity of the caller, they realize that all their lives are in peril. Bum, bum, bum. As we discussed, it is 82 minutes and it's directed by Lou Simon. And, I mean, it sounds cool. Sounds like a nice little thriller. I feel like I've heard that director name before. I almost feel like they had a signed edition of something else and it was this guy that did it. I could be totally wrong. Does he like run Horror Pack? All right, well, anyways, let's get to it, shall we? Let's watch these movies and let's do some reviews. Whoop. All right, so last night I watched Proxy. I don't know if I can't remember what this reads like on the back because it's been a minute since I filmed the unboxing and reading. But I know I got a vibe from this, that it was going to be Rosemary's Baby-esque. Was there something in here about that where they kind of, or maybe it was just because she's pregnant. But the point being, this movie is surprisingly awesome. Maybe it's because I went in with the expectations of it being a Rosemary's Baby type thing, which I'm not really a fan of. And I thought it was going to be slow at like 2 hours and all of that. So I was like, okay, we'll see what we're going to do here. But man, this is a stone's throw away from being an incredible movie. Even when I'm going to be negative about, I'm not actually being negative. almost wish it went a little bit more so it would be this like a major cult classic. As it stands, I'd say the strongest thing this movie has going for it is its script. Go into this blind. Hopefully the trailer playing over my face doesn't ruin too much of anything. But it starts, I'm going to tell you how it starts. It's pretty shocking, and I don't know how detailed I'll get. We'll see what I feel as I say it. But basically, there's this kind of quiet girl, and she's getting an ultrasound. She's about to give birth any day now. And she's walking home, or walking to her car, and she goes down an alley. Boom, takes a brick to the head. And then the unseen assailant takes that brick to her stomach. And it's pretty brutal. And then there's a whole hospital scene that's pretty gruesome and all of that. And it's not like played for gore, it's played for realism. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking and it's tragic. But man, I can't tell you much more than that, because after that, this movie, it's like 5 movies in one. I feel like this is a script-wise, not filmmaking-wise is what I'm going to talk about, but script-wise, this is a film that Alfred Hitchcock would have loved to have made. It very much has his kind of twisty-turny scripts, and I don't mean like Shyamalan got you twists. I just mean more like this movie's going one direction, and then something happens, and now we're going another direction, and there's a lot of those directional shifts, and it all comes together in an incredibly satisfying conclusion. You know, like, it really starts changing in the middle, and like that last, I was enjoying the first hour, but that last hour, I'm practically on the edge of my seat, like, I love this, where are we going? This is awesome. So this is not something I would have picked up on my own, but I'm glad. Thank you, Horror Pack, because this is definitely something I've already been recommending to horror aficionados that kind of knew about it but didn't really pay attention to it, and I'm like, yeah, you need to go see it. So that's where I say the only complaint I really have is it's very well made. There is some stylistic stuff going on here with the direction and cinematography. I just feel like maybe if it had been a little bit more stylistic, if they'd gone a little bit more into giving it a signature feel, then it would have tied together as a perfect, amazing, absolute cult classic. As it stands, it's an excellent film. You know, it's just, like I said, a stone's throw from perfection. But yeah, music is great. Performances are great all around. There's even one character that, there's a father character that early on I was like, I don't know, he seems a little flat. But as the movie goes, it kind of makes sense. And then it's like, okay, no, that was right. That was good. Those were good choices. And man, the ending, I freaking love the ending. And then Christina Klebe is in here, and she's like this one character that I've had the privilege of partying with her and like Mick Garris and John Russo one night. That was real fun. But she plays a real hard ass in this. Is the kind of person that feels very real and very hateable. So she does an excellent job with that. The leads, I'm just gonna say leads because pretty much everybody in this thing is a lead. And it's weird. It looks like I'm missing a tooth because of the lighting, but there is a tooth there. It's just back. Why does it look so off-colored? I'm sorry. I need to go look at that. I think it's just the lighting here. Yeah, it's just the lighting. Okay. My bad. Sorry to get all caught up in that. But yeah, everything about this was great. Music, the tension, the suspense, the pacing is good. It's a movie I definitely want to watch again, especially knowing where it does go. And it's something, like I said, it has kind of like a vibe of like The Trouble with Henry or something, maybe a little less funny. But like I said, that kind of Hitchcock thing of like, it's going to start one place and by the time it's over, it's gone a billion places, but it all makes sense and it all wraps up beautifully. So I highly recommend Proxy. So check that out. IFC Midnight. Awesome, awesome movie. So we just watched To Your Last Death. It's late. We need to move through this quick for Mary's sake. She's a saint for doing this with me. But I will say, this is from the people that did the Night of the Reanimated Dead, which I'm 50-50 on. I think that was last month we talked about it. I talked about it with y'all. But so I was going into this a little meh. But I gotta say, I low-key kind of fucking loved this. And my biggest takeaway from this is I will watch it again and again, but I have a vision for a mostly the same, but a few minor changes, and I'm not going to get into it here. Live action version of this would be fucking phenomenal. The other thing I'll say, I apologize to Mary a couple of times because thank God it was animated. You can say what you said in a second, but wait, hold on one second. Let me say, thank God it was animated because it was a lot more gruesome than I anticipated. And at least with animated gore, she's usually cool with it. Her saving grace in that regard was...
It was kind of poorly animated.
Yeah, but again, I think what this is, because it's a low-budgety thing, I think
I think they did well with what they had to work with.
Right, and I see if you. I'm curious if you agree that I think the designs, like if you took a still frame, generally, it's really good art. But the way it's translated to motion, where it's literally like it's not actually animated, it's like Photoshop morphed and manipulated, or, After Effects manipulated, that got puppeteered.
It kind of reminds me of
It's a little hard.
Frisky Dingo.
It has some of that vibe. Yeah, I could get with that. But what did you think of it overall? Like story,
I think I wouldn't watch it, but I think you're right. It would be a good live action,
especially like as a gore hound or a horror, because I think the story itself was actually really impressive. It would be oversimplified to say it's a horror Groundhog's Day, but that's certainly a large element of it. But there's this other almost very Twilight Zone-esque element to it as well. And I did very much love William Shatner doing the creepy voiceover stuff in this. However, I think you would get rid of that in the live action, because I think it'd be more interesting to set this up as something realistic, and then when the twists and turns start happening, you'd be like, holy shit.
There are certain jokes that you just have to make when you first hear him.
Well, yeah, you can't, especially because his first line is practically space, the final frontier.
I was trying not to be spoilery, but
that's like the first line of the movie. So I'm sorry, you could have said that. I didn't mean to take that from you, because that's not really spoilery, but.
Again, if I had done it, he'd be like, dude,
No, not if it's the first line of the movie. I never give you shit for the first line of something. But go ahead. Sorry.
But I don't know. That's pretty much all I had to say.
All right. Well, I think the pacing of this is really good. I was never bored. I never thought it dragged. There's some. I don't want to tell you too much about it. There's some great twists and turns in here. There's some weirdness in here that works more in the animation than maybe it would in live action, so that would be a translation thing.
Yeah.
But I think it could translate. I think Ray Wise was great. The cast in this was great. I get, voice acting as far as it goes, very, very good here. And our knock on the animation isn't even so much a knock, because I think, like you said, it's like they did really well with what they had to work with.
Yeah.
Because clearly this is, I don't know the history of the director Jason Axon, I assume, Axinn. But I know he did Night of Reanimated Dead or whatever before this. So I think, he's probably just early, and, he could, I don't have to be the guy that makes a live action remake. I'll produce it and he can make it. But because there's a few tweaks I would do. There's a few things I might change just slightly. But my God, this would be amazing. And honestly, if you haven't seen it and you like any of the kind of movies like this, you'll like this movie.
Again, and actually, I probably wouldn't watch it if it had better animation.
I think it would be a little too much for you.
Because, I can imagine you put, a nice, anime polish on this.
Yeah, it's one of the most, it would be one of the most gruesome, even for you who doesn't mind anime gore, it would still be too much for you. It would outdo a Chainsaw Man or an Attack on Titan for sure.
Now, Chainsaw Man is so over the top.
Well, that's true.
It's like an Evil Dead.
That's true. There's a realism to this, and I think what they did draw in here is excellent and gruesome and horrifying. And that I almost feel like if this was a live action movie, I would have believed it was written by James Gunn. It has that vibe to the violence and the insanity of it. So again, I think I'm coming into this with lowered expectations, and that's probably why it blew my mind a bit. Plus Ray Wise is always fucking great. He was great in this. And I just really like the idea and the concept of this, and I'm surprised I can't say that. That would definitely be spoilers, but because there is an element, keep it super vague. There's a sort of background designy element.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that I could have sworn was going to come into play, and it did not, unfortunately. But at the same time, I'm not mad because everything worked really well here. There is a mid-credits and a post-credits on this, by the way.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty cool. The post-credit, the last one, it's okay, but then it gets really good because it's mostly just dialogue, but it's very well delivered dialogue. I definitely think I would have ended it. There's a certain death near the very end where you could have just done that hard punch to credits and badass music, and it would have landed as a B-movie ending. But then I also think there's a sequel setup ending you could have done where you'd be like, okay, Well, that was level 1. So this other little element we've returned to a few times in this movie, now you're back there, and now we're going to begin level 2 of this game. You know, so I'm legit inspired by this, and like, this was really fucking great. And this is one of those, this is like a great sales pitch for Horror Pack for me.
Yeah.
Because this is a movie I never would have known about, I never would have paid attention to, and I probably never would have given a fair shake. But because they sent it to me in Horror Pack, and I made kind of like our Oscars rule of we watch everything because you never know. We see so many things we never would have. This is like that. I'm not saying this is an Oscar movie. Don't conflate what I'm saying. But this is fucking great. And we grabbed it on Vudu too because it's just easier to watch streaming down here. But we got to feed these kitties. Mary is dying, and she's been very thankful or for loving, happy. What's the word I'm looking for? Accommodating to me today to hit my schedule on her fucked up schedule. So yeah, there you go. And we're caught up on Horror Pack until in a few days when I probably get the May box theoretically. That's our thoughts on To Your Last Death. I fucking love it. I have some mild. I don't want this to sound like, oh, look at me, hoity-toity, but I feel like I have some connections, and I want to talk to these people and be like, yo, check this out and tell me, like, we need to produce a live-action version of this. Anyways, okay. Bye, Sleepy. Bye. All right, so I watched Trapped. I'm not entirely sure how this fits in Horror Pack this month, but it is a really excellent suspense film. Now, I'll be honest, it's been a little bit since I watched it. This is one of those I watched and then ended up with a cold and I got busy, so I'm trying to remember a lot of stuff, but the performances, of course, are fantastic. Kevin Bacon's great in here. Who's our lead lady? Charlize Theron is fantastic. It's a really interesting take on kidnapping thrillers and some very clever ways to play out of it, and you have some parents that make some very unusual choices that make sense and, you know, kind of complicate things in the best way possible. And Ella Fanning is really good as like the young little girl in this, and even Courtney Love for the role she plays I think is pretty fine in this too. And it's just a good thriller. Like, it's definitely something my dad would be into. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not, you know, going to win all the awards or anything, but it's absolutely worth watching. I don't feel like I waste my time on it. I'm not going to recommend like you run out and see it, but if you come across it and you're kind of curious and you like the cast, it's worth checking out. But you know, like I said, it's not one I'll probably revisit often, at least maybe once just to kind of remember how it goes. But I do like the way they're handling the kidnappings in this. I think that's pretty interesting. There is some scuzzery, some scuzzy bits from some of the characters, you know, rightfully so, that maybe don't feel 100% just because, you know, Kevin Bacon's a damn national treasure, so him as a bad guy doesn't always sell for me, even though he's doing it fine. It's just my own personal, when I think of Kevin Bacon, I think of like Trimmers and all that kind of stuff, like all the really fun roles, you know, Footloose, things like that. So I guess Stir of Echoes. Man, for some reason I just thought about Stir of Echoes, and that makes me really want to go watch Stir of Echoes again. I haven't seen that in a while. But again, it is a tightly drawn thriller. That is a good quote from Megan Turner from the New York Post at 1 hour and 46 minutes. It moves. It's not dull. It's well shot. It's well acted. It's another one of those movies that it's almost middle of the road, but it's not. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just well done. Nothing really stands out as great, except it does have a lot of charismatic performances, and it does have a pretty strong script. Like, not the greatest script, but it's a little bit, the script is better than average, and the charisma of the performers, I think, really make this something that it keeps it from being too middle of the road and absolutely forgettable. Because I do remember this. I remember bits and pieces and, you know, the characters and some of the things they went through. Unlike a movie from last month, you know, where within a week I forgot everything about it, even after watching a trailer. But yeah, like I said, if you happen to get your horror pack and you got this one, you haven't watched it, it's worth giving a go. But, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, unless you're just a huge fan of one of these actors, you don't necessarily need to rush out and find it either. But I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I saw it. I'm definitely going to let my pops watch it, because I think, again, he'll find it as a good, just kind of time killer movie, you know? It's worth seeing, but you don't desperately need to. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on Trapped. And the Horror Pack exclusive 73 minutes. Or, yeah. It looks like 23 Turnham ER in reverse. Sorry. It's good. I do think it's funny. It's 73 minutes, but it's like 89 minutes long or something like that. I liked this. I think the definite strength in this one, this is, you know, for the Horror Pack exclusive especially, this is one of the stronger ones they've had in a while. I think the script is really good. The twisty, turny elements of it, where it goes, what the ending is, I think script-wise, all very, very good. I think the performances in it, all very solid. And again, even the filmmaking, there's nothing bad in the filmmaking, but I do feel like it lost a lot of its tension from, like, this is it's not a slow movie, but it's like a slow cut kind of movie. Like, you know, the linger on shots, it's not like frantically edited or anything, which oftentimes is bad anyways. But I feel like this is a movie that needed to be a little frantically edited, particularly like when she's in a hurry down the street and speeding up and stuff, like, or like looking around trying to figure things out. It's like, don't just play like a 60-second shot on her face. I want those points of views. I want it cutting around like what she's and getting in close on her face and everything. So, you know, a lot of stuff kind of plays in the mid shots and the wide shots, and I think it takes some of the tension away that could have been there, because again, other than that, it's very well put together and done. Music's good, cinematography's good, all that, especially for all the car shooting they have to do. And fairly clever way of, I don't know if this was like a pandemic movie, but it could have been, because it made sense to have these characters interacting the way they were, but in a way that's isolated, that they could have all been kind of filmed individually. And without ruining it or spoiling it, I do like the ending. I like the mystery they kind of solve and how they go about solving it and uncovering what's going on. And, you know, I think some of the smaller characters are played interesting. Like the mom is not the greatest. Not the mom's mom. Not the main lady, but her mom. The grandma, I guess. Like, but I like that she was like that. And some of the trickery and everything. And there's some times in there, too, when I thought some things were going to go really wrong and go really badly, and then they just kind of didn't. So maybe that's an opportunity too. It could have been a bit more tragic or a bit more messed up. Because again, in this horror pack, at least half of this month's horror pack, because there's still one movie, the animated one, I haven't watched yet as of filming this, but it was much more of a suspense thriller horror pack than a horror pack, which is fine. I don't mind that so much, but you know, if I'm in the mood for horror movies, I kind of want horror movies. But yeah, but this definitely feels more like a thriller. It's a mystery suspense thriller. There's nothing really horror about it. You know, there's no stalking killer. I don't think there's I'm not even sure there's a single drop of blood in this movie. Maybe there was, but I don't think so. Certainly nothing memorable or standout in a gore kind of regard. But I'm happy with this one. I do enjoy watching it. Again, it's another one of those, I'm late to these reviews where my life got away from me. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it, but I do very much still remember it. It has stuck with me enough to know, you know, what I'm talking about with it and have some thoughts and feelings about it still. Would I watch it again? Yeah. I can't say, like, if I had all the time in the world and I was watching 5-6 movies a day, yeah, I'd absolutely get back to this again. With as many as I get to watch, it's unlikely. Would I be willing to? Yeah, at least one more go, because stuff like this is kind of fun once you know where it goes, how it's going, to go back and see what kind of little clues they may or may not have layered through it. But yeah, again, if you get horror pack and you happen to be like, I don't watch the exclusives because most times they're this is one of the substantially good ones, so highly recommend that. And cool to have a exclusive signature edition. But yeah, so there you go. That is my thoughts on 73 minutes. That actually runs, I want to say 89, but I bet it's like 87 or something. I'm being a jerk. Where is it? I know it told me because I made fun of it in the unboxing. 82 minutes. Okay, excuse me. All right. Well, there you go. That's this month's horror pack. Can't wait for the next one. I'll get it done on a regular, reasonable time, I hope. Fingers crossed. Woo! Woo! There you have it. Again, now past future me has already watched these and reviewed them and told you my thoughts, but what I'm going to guess here, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say this is my favorite one, the animated one. Although Proxy is a contender, I think Trapped will probably be the best made one, and I think this is going to be one of the better exclusives they've had in a little while, maybe. Again, keep in mind, I have not watched all of my February or March pack as of filming this. I should mention that too. But I think it's going to be really cool. Another great set of movies, another surprise of not knowing or have heard or seen, at least Proxy. I may have heard of Proxy, but I'm not entirely sure. But let me know, what do y'all think? Are you excited? Which have you seen all these movies? Which is your favorite? What do you think about them? That and more. I'd love to hear what you have to say, so definitely comment below. Give me some fun reading to do. You can also, of course, get $3 off your first horror pack purchase by using my code BLOODYBUTTS at checkout. And then don't forget to give that thumbs up. Give us the good old thumb of encouragement, as we do love to be encouraged around here. Just wanted to show off. And go check out my music, Eric Butts. Anywhere you listen to music, high energy pop punk style stuff, sometimes slow down romantic stuff too. You never know what I'm going to do. Check me out, especially on Spotify. Look up Eric Butts or go to ericbutts.com for all that funky butt stuff you're looking for. Well, maybe not all the funky butt stuff you're looking for. There's other sites for that. And of course, there's more content and links in the description below. So click that see more button to see more butts. Now I'm going to get out of here so I can go get to watching some more freaking awesome horror movies and hopefully finally get back on task here. And then I'll see you all later. Oh, bye.